The morning was deceptively serene, the kind where the world feels like it's holding its breath. In Willow Creek, a Florida-gated community infamous for its draconian HOA, the sun painted golden streaks through swaying palms. Sprinklers whirred, birds trilled, and a dog barked lazily down the block. It was the kind of morning that tricked you into thinking chaos couldn't touch you. 16-year-old Ethan Carter was finishing his chores, sweat plastering his shirt to his back as he wrestled the ancient push mower across stubborn grass. His knuckles were scraped, but he didn't complain. Nana Grace had raised him with a simple rule: you care for what's yours. Their small lawn was a point of pride, and Ethan made it sharp. He paused, panting, hands on knees, and left the mower by the driveway for a moment, intending to grab a drink before storing it. A fleeting decision. A catastrophic spark. Two shadows stretched across the pavement. "Excuse me, kid," a gruff voice snapped. Ethan looked up to see two men, mid-30s, in navy polos and tactical vests emblazoned with HOA enforcement. Their buzz cuts, mirrored sunglasses, and over-polished boots screamed wannabe cops, too aggressive for neighbors, too theatrical for city officials. The taller one, Vince, stepped forward, boots crunching gravel. "You violated Section 43B, equipment left out on community-facing property," he said, his tone flat, rehearsed. Ethan blinked, confused. "What? The mower? I was just—" 15 minutes is a visual disruption. The shorter one, Carl, interrupted, arms crossed like a disappointed coach. "Grounds for citation. Or detainment." Ethan's stomach lurched. Detainment? For a lawnmower. Vince flashed a laminated card, blurry text, a tacky gold star. Not a real ID. Ethan's instinct screamed, "You're not." Before he could finish, they grabbed him. Vince twisted Ethan's arm behind his back, the pain sharp and immediate. Carl's grip bruised his shoulder, jerking him forward. Ethan yelped, stumbling as they forced him toward the ground. "Hey!" a voice roared from the house. Noah Carter, Ethan's 24-year-old brother, protective to a fault, exploded through the front door, the screen slamming so hard it rattled. "What the hell are you doing?" he shouted, charging down the steps. "Back off," Carl warned, holding up a palm. "HOA enforcement in progress." Ethan gasped. "Noah, they're grabbing me." Noah's eyes blazed, scanning the fake uniforms, the flimsy IDs, his brother restrained like a criminal over a lawn tool. "Let him go." "Now," he growled. Vince smirked, unfazed. "Or what? You'll get detained too." Noah's voice turned to ice. "You're on my property. You're not cops. You're just bullies with a printer and some cosplay vests." The neighborhood stirred. Curtains twitched. A jogger paused, earbuds dangling. A woman peeked from behind her SUV. Across the street, a man in gym shorts stopped watering his lawn, staring. But no one moved. Ethan's face burned, not just from pain, but humiliation. A straight-A kid, never in trouble, now manhandled like a thug over a mower. The neighbors he waved to every morning stood silent, their inaction cutting deeper than the grip on his arm. "You got real ID?" Noah demanded, voice trembling with fury. Carl waved a folded paper, a fake badge with a barely erased Walmart watermark. "We don't need your permission," he snapped. "HOA warnings are public domain. If you missed the bulletin, that's your problem." Noah's fists clenched. "You think you can grab a kid on private property without cause? That's assault." Vince leaned close, his cheap cologne stinging Noah's nose. "You think you're above the HOA? That's not how this neighborhood works." Noah stared, speechless for the first time. Was this a prank? A scam? A power trip? It didn't matter. They were touching his family. The screen door creaked. A soft sound, barely audible, but to Ethan and Noah, it was a siren. Grace Harper, 73, stepped out, 5 feet 2 inches of weathered muscle and unshakable calm. Her silver hair was pulled into a tight bun, her eyes sharp as blades. In a faded gym tee, sweatpants, and soft slippers, she radiated a stillness that felt like the eye of a hurricane. She didn't shout, didn't raise her hands, just stood on the porch, watching, hands at her sides. Vince glanced at her, smirking condescendingly. "Ma'am, step back. You're interfering with a citation." Carl chuckled under his breath. "Whole family's trouble. Must be genetic." Ethan, still pinned, whispered, "Nana, don't." Grace took 2 silent steps off the porch, her slippers whispering on concrete. "Let go of my grandson," she said, her voice low, measured, like a warning shot. Vince laughed, too loud, performing for the growing crowd. We're enforcing HOA rules. Not up for debate. Step back, or you're an accessory. Carl grinned, eyes narrowing. Yeah, you want a fine too, Granny? Noah's knuckles whitened, sensing the tsunami about to crash. Grace stepped closer. You have 3 seconds, she said softly, her tone so certain it sent a chill through the air. Vince's smile flickered, not from her words, but her delivery, like she'd already counted the seconds in her mind. Carl scoffed. This is rich. Vince turned to his partner, grinning. We're about to get assaulted by a senior citizen. Ethan pleaded, just let me go. They ignored him, too busy flexing their fake authority. 2, Grace said, eyes locked on them. Noah opened his mouth to speak, but stopped. When Grace Harper counted, you didn't interrupt. Carl pulled out a plastic zip tie, sneering. You want her cuffed too? Grace didn't flinch, didn't blink. 1. The air froze. A neighbor gasped audibly. Phone stopped recording. Vince and Carl smirked one last time, oblivious to the storm. They shouldn't have. 0. Grace moved like lightning. A folding knife flicked open from her sleeve, for inches of polished steel gleaming. In one fluid motion, she sliced Vince's inner wrist, not deep, just enough to hit a pressure point. He screamed, a guttural mix of pain and shock, releasing Ethan, who stumbled free, panting. Grace spun, ducking Carl's clumsy grab, and drove her foot into the back of his knee. It buckled with a sickening pop, and he crashed face first into the grass, crying out. For seconds in, Vince, clutching his wrist, backed into the bushes, panic in his eyes. Grace held her blade outward, not advancing, just owning the space. She didn't need to chase. She was the predator now. 8 seconds. That's all it took. 2 men in tactical vests, reduced to moaning wrecks on the lawn. Ethan stood, dazed, heart pounding. Noah whispered, holy. Neighbors emerged fully, phones up, mouths agape. She did that in slippers, one gasped. That was military, another muttered. No. A voice corrected, low and reverent. That was Grace Harper. Grace lowered her knife, eyes unreadable. 8 seconds, she said, voice calm. I was polite. She crouched near Vince, just enough to meet his terrified gaze. You should have walked away when I gave you the chance. He nodded frantically, words failing him. Grace folded the knife with a single motion, slipped it back into her sleeve, and walked toward the house, leaving a stunned crowd buzzing with disbelief. The neighborhood exploded into whispers. Phones captured every angle, and within minutes, the video hit X, TikTok, and YouTube. Grandma versus HOA tyrants trended, racking up 2.8 million views in hours. Neighbors swapped stories, whispers that Grace had trained soldiers, served in covert ops in the Philippines, Panama, places no one dared name. The HOA issued a vague statement, denying involvement, but residents smelled blood. Fake notices, aggressive fines, a non-existent Section 43B, all traced to a shadowy third-party firm. The board crumbled under pressure, with resignations piling up and a new Harper clause, barring unauthorized enforcement. Police arrived, blue and red lights pulsing. Officer Langley, calm and methodical, recognized Grace immediately. That Grace Harper? He muttered to his partner, Ruiz, who nodded, wide-eyed. They took statements, Ethan recounting the grab, Noah showing the video, Grace describing her warning. The fake enforcers, Vince and Carl, were cuffed, their bravado gone. She attacked us. Vince whined, but Langley shut him down. You detained a minor on private property with no authority. She stopped you. You're lucky it's just cuffs. The court case was swift. With 3 camera angles, a dozen witnesses, and a viral video, Vince and Carl pleaded guilty to criminal impersonation and assault. 18 months, probation, no chance of setting foot in Willow Creek again. The HO faced a reckoning. Residents organized, digging through bylaws, uncovering more fake ordinances. A grassroots movement ousted half the board, and the Harper Clause became a model for communities nationwide. Grace refused all spotlight, interviews, sponsorships, even a Netflix docuseries. When they use your story, it's not yours anymore, she told Ethan. But Noah saw an opportunity. He dug out old VHS tapes from the garage, grainy footage of Grace in her 20s, disarming men in military drills with surgical precision. They messed with the wrong grandma. His YouTube caption read, 12 million views in 48 hours. Comments flooded. She's a legend. This is what justice looks like. But others sparked debate. She's a vigilante. That knife was illegal. HOAs are necessary. She undermined order. Ethan trained with Grace daily, not for revenge, but for choice, frozen or present, fearful or focused. The panic attacks that hit after the incident faded. Noah built the Harper Defense Fund, raising $90,000 for families facing HOA abuse. The story ignited arguments. Was Grace a hero or a danger? Did she save Ethan or escalate recklessly? Should HOAs have enforcement power, or are they petty tyrannies? Years later, new neighbors heard the tale within days, often with a link to the 8-second clip. Don't test the quiet houses, they were warned. Grace, tending her roses, never chased fame. But the world saw her strength, a reminder that some don't fight often, but when they do, they don't miss. What do you think? Was Grace Harper a hero or a vigilante? Did she go too far, or was her response the only way to stop injustice? Should HOAs have enforcement power, or are they breeding grounds for abuse? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's debate the line between justice and chaos in our communities.